Hi, my name's Ordermaster101,
Bitches.
and today we are playing RAD.
Bitches.
Are you happy with that? Are you proud of yourself?
Bitches.
Are you proud of yourself? First random fact, Curse of Strahd is not a good game for beginner D&D groups.
Yep, neither is Tomb of Annihilation.
I mean, at least with Tomb of Annihilation, you know what your goal is, you know what you're doing.
Sometimes. Ocelot. Ocelot.
Also, a lot in your face.
In the navy.
In the name, what the fuck?
The final Confederate surrender of the U.S. Civil War took place on the River Mersey in Liverpool, England. When a Confederate warship, the CSS Shenandoah, learned of the Norse victory while abroad.
Huh.
There's an encrypted art sculpture called Cryptos at the CIA headquarters that has a secret message that has been unsolved for 30 years.
If it gets solved, it's just gonna be like, "Dear Ronald Reagan, your mom gay, LOLOL."
Check out this dick.
It's the crypto art is just an elaborate fucking like Ligma joke.
Lick my mouth. Suck on me.
Oh, you can't forget the dragons though.
Drag on these down. There are the tiny worm things that we see in our eyes sometimes are called floaters. And they're actually made up of cells that have like disconnected from the rest of like the membrane and are now just floating.
Huh. Good for them.
There's a restaurant in Tokyo called the Restaurant of Order Mistakes that hires waiters with memory issues such as dementia or Alzheimer's, and they may or may not get your order right.
Huh. I don't. That's interesting.
Huh. Costco loses $40 million a year on rotisserie chickens. A clear loss leader as they are 50% bigger than the ones at other stores and about $2 cheaper. Um, but this encourages other people to buy more groceries, so they still sell 60 million of them a year.
They also lose profits on the rotisserie chickens because I keep sticking my dick in them. Oh, I'm kidding.
Did you fuck the rotisserie chicken?
Don't
Did
worry
you get
about it.
salmonella on your dick hole?
Don't worry about it.
That
Those
reminds me of that fucking post where it's like, first was like, yeah, so I was like making, I'm a nudist now, I was making chicken. And I was getting out of the packaging, and some of it like dripped on my genitals, and now they burn. And it's been a couple of days now they burn. Do you think I got salmonella? And someone's like, "You fucked that chicken." Everyone, all the comments were like, "You fucked the chicken."
I mean, so okay, you know, like those videos of people like cooking out in nature, and like this one still fucking like sticks with me because this guy is like preparing a chicken breast and he like cuts a slit down the chicken breast like perfectly symmetrical. It looks like a pussy. Like there's no like shit like fingering around it. It looks like a pussy, and he just
Aren't
starts
you
like,
supposed to finger the pussy?
okay, yes, you're supposed to finger like pussies of like, you know, people consensually, but like this guy like drips oil on it and starts rubbing it and like putting his finger between the slit, and then he slaps it, and it's like, my guy, could you quit making this chicken so sensual? It's kind of weird.
Huh.
We have fun here at
In,
Factu-tainment.
in 1996, a physicist once submitted a paper full of gibberish to a postmodernist journal, and it actually passed peer review and was published. This is known as the Sokal affair.
Huh.
Winston Churchill invented, designed, and named the romper.
Ew. People are like, oh, sexy romper, and it's like, my guy, Winston Churchill designed that. Now all that you're
Uh,
gonna think... Oh, go ahead.
sorry, you were saying that.
I'll say, now go ahead, and when you're... Uh-oh. Please ignore that. When your girlfriend wears one, all that you're gonna think about is Winston Churchill.
So apparently, in 1904, the St. Louis Olympics, where there was also called the Savage Games, known as the Anthropological Days Stage, where Native Americans and ethnic tribesmen from many other countries were shipped in to compete against each other for the purpose of displaying white superiority.
What the fuck?
They won most of the events.
Like, the indigenous individuals won most of the events?
They won most of the events.
Okay, good for them, but on the other hand, what the fuck?
They took participants, about 100 paid indigenous men. No women were allowed. Uh, no, wait, that's not true. There was 100 paid indigenous men were shipped in, as well as the Fort Shaw Indian School uh, School for Girls, which is a college basketball team, and another Negro basketball team, or no, baseball team, were brought in. The contest included baseball throwing, shot put, running, broad jump, weightlifting, so most of the Olympic stuff. Um, it was ultimately described as poorly organized, uh, but it was led by the Smithsonian Institute. Uh, and it was supposed to establish the quantitative measure of the inferiority of primitive peoples and a ranking and a definitive ranking of the human species based on ethnicity and
Smithsonian, what
coordination
the
of mind
fuck?
and body, which seems to mark the outcome of human development and measure the attainment of human excellence.
Smithsonian, what the fuck? Smiths.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right
Um,
there.
but yeah, the native peoples won a bunch of the events.
Good for them.
Genghis Khan and the Mongol Empire killed 11% of the world's population in the 13th century.
Hmm. Murder.
Jesse Owens, Jesse Owens, on what has now been called the Day of Days in 1935 Olympics, set 4 world records in 45 minutes.
Good for him.
Late Eddie Van Halen almost never listened to any music he wasn't actively involved in, or did he revisit most of his old work. He had his car stereo removed and he scarcely listened to Pantera either, even though he placed his own axe inside the funeral casket of guitarist Dimebag Darrell. He did this as in an effort to avoid unintentionally copying other artists.
Huh.
Valisy Mitrokhin, a KGB archivist who kept a vast collection of handwritten notes on top secret files, when he defected to Britain in 1992, he brought 6 trunks of notes with him that exposed several 100,000 KGB activities in the West during the Cold War.
Hmm.
There, for a period in the 19th century, walking competitions were a big money spectator sport and would often last several days at a time.
Hmm.
Uh, the Canadian cities of Toronto and Montreal are further south than the American cities of Seattle and Portland.
Interesting.
In 1974, the North Korean government ordered 1,000 Volvo 144 cars, as well as other manufacturing equipment from Sweden, but never actually paid for any of it. They currently owe $32 million in debt to Sweden.
Man, to be indebted to Sweden must suck.
Uh, the Simpsons episode where the Krusty Burger nearly goes bankrupt after giving out free hamburgers when the U.S. won gold medals is based on fact. This actually happened with McDonald's when the USSR boycotted the 1984 games.
Hmm. Oh.
Different horse breeds have different traits that relate to breed specific mutations on the DMRT3 gene. This gene, this gene controls spinal neurological circuits related to limb movement, and different breeds are able to do different types of movement, such as the Atlantic horse breeds can perform a 4-beat lateral gait known as a tolt, while as Arabians are able to better jump.
Hmm.
This has been Random Fact Friday.
Bye, everyone.